I'm thinking back on all those times when I felt closed off from all that I could become. Eager but too scared to climb. Wanted to please my friends, but it felt like the end of myself. I was shut down and all drained out. I was lost, so I had to change. Yeah, I shook off all the bad vibes, cut me loose from the pettiness. They turned on me, but now I am perfectly free to be me. This is who I am. This is who I am now. No matter what they saying, this is who I am. This is who I am now. They think that I have lost my mind, that I'm not being true, but they don't have a clue. 'Cause this is me when I cut out all of the shallowness and everything I suppressed to fit in a small frame. But I won't play your game anymore, so I had to change. Yeah, I shook off all the bad vibes, cut me loose from the pettiness. They turned on me, but now I am perfectly free to be me. This is who I am. This is who I am now. No matter what they saying, this is who I am. This is who I am now. I'm gonna let them talk, but I ain't following nobody else. How can I be resentful when I finally respect myself? I shook off all the bad vibes, cut me loose from the pettiness. They turned on me, but now I am perfectly free to be me. This is who I am. This is who I am now. No matter what they're saying, this is who I am. This is who I am now.
Jennifer Silvernagel, how are you?
What's up, Gary McGowan?
I am good. Guess what? This is episode 3. You know what they say about threes?
It's a habit. I don't know what they say about threes.
Nice. Good things come in threes, and we got a special guest and all sorts of fun stuff in Crackford today. So let's get started. We're going to roll right into the intro and get our main man on screen here. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
Here we go. KWRC TV, and we are bringing on a special guest. Super excited about that. What else are we doing today, Jen? We got lots of fun stuff in store.
Yeah, we got our top threes lined up. We got our quick takes for the day. We got a little script going on. We got some new stuff. We got some old stuff. Can we call it old after 3 episodes? Is that a thing?
You just did, so yes.
Yeah, okay, it is now.
So yes.
Yeah.
All good, all good. And please let us know where you're watching from and write in comments, and we love that sort of stuff. We can bring them on screen and everything like that. And even after, if we're not live and you happen to be watching this as a replay, send in your comments, because Jen and I will circle back and comment or like or reach out to you, whatever you need. We'll be there for you. So as we said, we've got a special guest speaker today. Guest speaker? That's not right. It is now. We're
just making up all sorts of stuff today.
Yeah, he doesn't know that, but it's all good. Austin Clark, love the intro. Yes, sir. And today we reached out to one of our top producers at Keller Williams Realty Centers, Vincent Bongard. I'm going to bring you on screen, my man, and I'll do the intro with you with your smiling face right here. So Vincent,
hi there. I was not aware of any speeches today, so I was gonna let me grab the tequila first.
Nice. Nice. So for those of you that didn't catch that was tequila. And Vincent, you are, where'd you come from? Where does a 6'2" blonde haired guy come from?
Yeah, not Mexico, that's for sure.
Nice.
Switzerland.
All right, that's very good.
Or Sweden. People mix it up all the time anyway, and I just stopped fighting it. I'll just take it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Stop.
Okay, what's nothing to do with real estate, but this is awesome. What's the favorite thing about Switzerland? Your favorite thing?
Me now. No.
There it is, right there.
No, what's the famous? I think Swiss people are very humble, just like myself, obviously. And we make good chocolate and good cheese.
Yeah.
Very small country. We're actually 26 times smaller than Ontario.
Really?
Yeah, and we got four official languages. So everything is in 4 languages. We have, of course, German, French, Italian, and then we have a minority who speaks a very interesting language. It's almost a Latin language. It's called Romansh. It's only about 7,000 people who speak it, but they're working really hard to conserve that language. And it's on all our bills, on all our official papers. So everything is in 4 languages. So yeah, we're 26 times smaller than Ontario, but we have 26 provinces. So imagine that. So some provinces are as small as York Region or even smaller. And then every province has different tax laws and different rules and regulations, basically, and also different dialects. It's crazy. There's a lot happening in this small little piece of Europe there.
Yeah, that's a lot of things in a very small space. Oh man.
So how does a guy from Switzerland and leave like the Swiss Alps, the mountains, the beautiful scenery? How does a guy go from that to coming to our lovely land of Ontario, Aurora to be exact? How does that happen?
Well, to be honest, I came here for the skiing.
Liar.
I heard the mountains are great, so I heard about Blue Mountain. I was like, amazing, we got mountains here, so let's go. No, I mean, a lot of people probably know the story. My wife's from here, born and raised. Met her at the 2008 Olympics in China, and she brought me over here. She imported me, and now I'm here. Now I'm here with no desire to go back.
Nice. And you left a kind of an interesting career, if I remember correctly. Were you a sportscaster or news? You were on TV, right?
I wasn't on TV. Well, sometimes, but just for little pieces. But I was mostly a producer of sport shows, and kind of behind the scene. I have a radio face, I guess.
Nice. I've often heard that said about me, but I don't know what they mean, Vincent. I don't know. Anyways.
I don't know either.
Anyways, it's all good. It's all good. So you've been here now for how many years? Did you move here 6, 7 years ago? How long you been back to
Yeah, I
Canada?
think it's in February it's going to be 7 years already. It's crazy how this just flies by. Sometimes I feel like I've been here forever,
Yeah.
because just so much happened in these 7 years and so much. Yeah, it was never boring. It was always something. So that's why it feels like I've been here forever. And
Nice.
then I look back and I still think 7 years. That's wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And in that 7 years, you've created an amazing reputation for yourself in the real estate world, as one of the go-to realtors, and here in the Aurora, Newmarket, kind of that north area of York region. Like that just doesn't happen overnight. Like how did you go from like being a brand new agent to being one of the top producers at Keller Williams Realty Centers?
Well, to be honest, it wasn't easy in the beginning. It was I started in Toronto on a team, and yeah, looking back, like I always pictured real estate being this fancy job. You wear nice suits, you nice shoes, you dress, you drive a nice car, you show cool houses, and because I had no idea what real estate is, it doesn't even exist in Switzerland, right? Well, maybe it starts now, but back then, none of my friends' parents has ever sold a house. You build a house, you live there forever, and when the parents are ready to retire or go in a home, the kids usually. So there's no real turnover. So I had no
Hmm.
idea what the career is going to look like, and yeah, honestly, it was pretty frustrating in the beginning. It was just kind of like I was a we came here. My wife started working right away. She had the license already, while I was just stay-at-home dad with or then 1 or 2 year old. And during his naps, I got my license and studied. And when I was finally licensed and ready to get it out and tackle it, it was kind of yeah, wasn't the way I thought it would be. And I think what kind of saved me, and that's an important thing, is like it took me I think 6 months to get my first deal, which is a long time, but um, so what helped me getting through the 6 months was really setting other goals for myself that I could directly have an impact if I achieve them or not. Like real estate, a lot of it is out of our control. A lot of it is sometimes luck, sometimes bad luck. But things that we can't control is the work we put into it. So for me, it was door knocking because I liked it. I tried cold calling for a weekend and I hated it. I was ready to tear tear up my license. But door knocking I could control. So instead of focusing on selling houses, and it sounds weird, I focused on knocking on doors. And I said, my goal is 1,000 doors this week. And I did it, and I had these little wins every day, and that kind of gave me the kind of the fuel I needed to pull through. And then, of course, at some point, the results started to show. Like, as long as you're out there putting in the work, you'll get the results at some point. So that helped me, and yeah, all of a sudden that wheel started spinning, and I stuck to my routine, and yeah, helped me to get where I'm now. And I was actually just thinking about that, and everybody who's new in the business here listening to that, just gotta remember that it's an endurance test. Real estate. No one just gets out and sells 5 or 10 houses in the first. I even say half year. If you do it in your first half year, then you're just an absolute rock star. I didn't do it.
Hmm.
And there's some good stuff there. I love Jen that he said, don't focus on getting that first listing or selling 5 homes in the first year. Go focus on the task of the day. Like go knock
Yeah.
on those 100 doors the first day, or create those 20 new contacts. Right? Like that's important stuff, Vincent.
Yeah. I mean, in
Right,
my
right.
So I was gonna say in my
That's
brain, I'm like thinking, like I need all of the coaching guys to just watch that snippet of this conversation because that's exactly what they need to hear, right? It's disproportionate time on the task will get the results, right?
Yeah, I
Mm.
remember I was in Bolt and I signed up just weeks before I knew I would get licensed. And back then, when we were able to have in-person bold, they at the beginning of each session, you report your numbers, like how many appointments did you have, how many um, conditional deals, how many firm deals, all kind of stuff. And of course, I had nothing to show. I was just like 0, 0, 0, like. And yeah, I could have made excuses, of course. I said, well, I'm not licensed yet, or I'm just licensed for a week. But there was this other thing called Bold 100. So if you get 100 contacts a day, you get a little pin. And that's something I could control. That's something I could at least put myself out there and have control over. So I just did that like every week. And at least I could raise my hand when they said, okay, anybody did a Bold 100? I'm like, here. And I'm like, oh, this guy,
Yes, yeah.
this guy again.
It's like the one win, right? Just that focus on that one win until you get more, but just keep focusing on the positive of it, which is hugely important, especially at the beginning, right?
It's super important because, again, a lot of people come into this business with such high expectations, and it's a tough goal. Like I think the first 6 to 8 months are incredible. Like they're very, very tough, and yeah, it definitely helps. Like we have an amazing setting here in our office, I think, with you, Jen and Gary, and a lot of people that you can reach out to and that are willing to help. But yeah, you gotta pull through and just trust. I always say trust the process. If you do what works for other people and you do it for long enough, you'll see the results. Of course, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to go out call 200 people a day now, and you do it for a week and you don't have a result, and then you give up on it. You have to trust the process.
Interesting.
Simple
So,
things.
just in a couple of moments before we sign off here, Vincent, with you, do you think? I'm curious on your insight here. Do you think people stay on the process long enough, or do you see them not getting the results and jumping too quickly?
Uh, I don't think I know enough about what other people, how they run. I can tell you, like I obviously I'm known for door knocking. I got about probably 20 to 40 people a year that reach out to me and ask me if they could shadow me and come with me. And I'm happy to take them with me. I actually love having people with me because I feel I perform better. I want to show them it works. It's like you take someone to go fishing, you want to catch fish. You don't want to take someone, oh, I'm the best fisherman. Let's go out the whole day and then no single bite. So I love taking people out with me, and they get all fired up and they got excited, and they're ready to go. They want to do the same cards, and then they go a week or 2 weeks, and then I don't hear anything from them anymore. So getting back to your question, I think people give up too soon, probably. Yeah, because it's not easy. It's not easy to hang in there and just trust that if you do it for long enough, it works. And that's not just for door knocking. That's for all kind of whatever it might be. And the beauty in our business is we have so many different ways to create business. I think it's just important to do what you enjoy. If you don't enjoy it, you're not gonna do it. Like if someone would force me to call, I don't know, to cold call 8 hours a day, I wouldn't last half a day.
Mm-hmm.
So find your niche, find what you like, because you're automatically going to be better at that, and it's going to be easier to stick to it, and the results will come.
That's it. You nailed it. I was gonna ask
Yeah.
you for like in closing, what do you want people to know? Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite quotes or things to talk about is, focus on the stuff or work on the stuff, do the stuff that you love, and leverage the stuff that you aren't particularly good at. And you said it so perfectly. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So, in signing off, Vincent, what's in store for you this year? What are people going to see from Vincent Bongard in 2021?
Good question. I mean, my goal is always to, like, when it comes to business, to beat the previous year. I don't necessarily, I don't set a lot of goals usually. Before COVID, the only goal I set was always the number of doors I'm going to knock, and I always try to do more and more and more. But now it's kind of like, I don't know when I can go back again. So I think I'm just gonna stick to my routine and try to beat last year. And other than that, yeah, maybe to leverage myself a little bit more, because that's definitely something I'm not great at. As I just said, I was just just before we jumped on here, I was out shoveling someone's driveway on a list that I have. It's like that's stuff I shouldn't do. I should give someone $20 to the neighbor's kid or something and say just shovel it. But I don't know.
Nice. Well, I tell you what, I'll give you $20 to come shovel my driveway right now.
I'm not even good at it. I'm not even good at that stuff.
I didn't know that was a skill, but evidently it is.
Yes.
Very good. Well, Vincent, appreciate your time and obviously your wise words, and not only that, but your leadership. You lead by example here, and that's what we love. So all the best to you in 2021, and looking forward to seeing your huge success this year, my friend.
Thanks for having me, and the good stuff you're doing. It's really cool. I love it. Cheers.
See you, buddy.
Thanks. Bye.
Vincent Bongard, one of our faves. You never know what you're going to get from him. Usually some tequila. I love it.
Yeah. Just let him talk, right? There's so many gems in that. I was like, I don't even want to interrupt. Just keep talking. Yeah, that was awesome. And I had no idea Switzerland was set up like that. So that's pretty cool. Pretty
wild, eh? I always find it really intriguing to talk to all our friends that, you and I were born and raised in Canada. Like our experience from this perspective, it is just one perspective. But talking to our friends that come from other countries and immigrate to Canada, I always find it so fascinating. And I think we need to do more of it. Like learn and ask questions of those that come from different parts of the world, and we're gonna learn a lot from them. Yeah, for sure. Great interview. Yeah, that was a really great one. I enjoyed that. For sure. Yeah,
it was good. On a side note, I was actually born in Ireland, so
I take
not
that
from
back,
Canada.
Jen, I knew that. Why did I say that? Okay.
I don't know, Gary.
And it's why I send you pictures of beautiful looking Guinness.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm taking my own advice. I'm surrounding myself from people from other parts of the world.
There you go. And I mean, I was a kid when I moved here, so unlike Vincent, who hasn't been here as long, was a lot older when he moved, right? So I did essentially, I feel like I grew up in Canada for sure, because majority of my life has been here. I was 9 when I immigrated, so a little bit different, right, than coming from being an adult somewhere else and then transitioning to Canada. But yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that is funny. Oh man, I love it. All right,
good.
What's on the docket for today? What are we doing?
So this will be your cue. This is what we're doing right here. Top threes. So we talked about this yesterday, and we went through a couple different scenarios of what are our top threes. I'm just fixing your camera as I speak here because that's what we do at KWRC TV. We do things live. Look at that, perfectly shot. So the first episode we talked about your 3 questions to ask when buying a property. Then last week we talked about your 3 lead gen or your favorite lead gen levers we doing in this type of market. And Jen had a great one yesterday. Top 3 investment strategies or investments during a hot market, and we quickly came up with 3, pretty quickly. It's just the story around those. Each one is going to be a little bit different than the previous one, obviously, and I found this actually more intriguing the more I thought about it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's so many options, right? That's what's kind of crazy about it, is that there's just such a variety. I think that's what makes it such a great question, is that because obviously everyone's answer is going to be slightly different based on our knowledge and our experience, of course, but it's still, when you look at the opportunities by trying to figure out what the best 3 are, all of a sudden you start thinking of more, and then that creates that snowball effect. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. So the first one we came up with, in this type of market where it's really, really hot, investments can range from real estate to outside of real estate, and that's what these 3 different opportunities, if you will, are. And the first one, near and dear to my heart, and will always be, because that's how I got into real estate, are investment properties, right? And and even in a hot market like this, look for opportunities. Real estate is not about winning today. How you win today is by planning for the future. When I mean future, I mean 5, 10, 15 years down the road, right? You can't see my arm, but I'm pointing really far. And people will often mistake the quick win for generating wealth, right? And wealth can mean so many different things to so many different people, and sometimes it means, you know, having the financial means to send your kids to school when it's time to send your kids to school, for instance, or paying off your mortgage, or having funds to do the things that you want to do in retirement, and to be able to give back. And even in a hot market like this, investment properties, there's still great purchases. You know, look for opportunities. Don't look in the areas around where we live, because typically where we live, it's very expensive, right? And that's just the nature of the, you know, most people are watching from the Greater Toronto area, and look into some of those secondary markets. And I have properties in Barrie, even though Barrie is a hot market now. Look in Aurelia, look in Midland, look east of us, look west of us, look in those markets where there's, you know, still opportunity to buy and cash flow, and understand what that means. So that to me is will always be number one, because what happens with real estate, Jen, over time?
Well, it makes you money. It goes up, right?
Exactly. I was talking with an agent earlier today, and he's looking to buy investment properties, but he's discouraged because they're so expensive. And I said, here's the best thing. If I said that about the properties I bought 10 years ago, I never would have bought them, and I wouldn't have generated that appreciation over the last 10 years, right? So it's all relative to where you're, not where you are, but where you're going to be.
Where you're going, yeah.
So the next one that Jen and I talked about, and this one would be my second favorite one at this moment in a hot market, is the stock market. And I know we don't often get to talk about stocks on a real estate show, and we're going to do that today. And over this past year, there's been a tremendous opportunity, right? When markets kind of do one of these, look for that opportunity in chaos. And it's, you know, it's people that have that awareness. And if you don't know anything about the stock market, for instance, my wife, you know, she knew about the stock market, but in the past year, she went and did some courses and educated herself, and now she's able to, you know, invest some of her funds and the funds that we have into the stock market, and in very, very stable stocks. You know, we're not looking for the home run, although those are nice. We're looking to generate wealth down the road, right? And some of the stocks that we've been looking at are, you know, your staple stocks that have been around for years, stocks that pay you dividends. Look for a stock that does that. So even though it might go up and down throughout the years, it's going to be paying you anywhere from like a, you know, we look at stocks that pay anywhere from basically a 5 to about a 12% dividend every year. So how cool is that? You're getting money just to own the stock, let alone riding it on the up or the down. And for some people that have locked in RSPs, I know years ago I was able to work at Bell, good or bad, I don't know, that's another story. And I have a locked in RSP in there. And I was able to take ownership of that, meaning manage it myself, and get, you know, realign where some of those funds were. And now I'm heavily invested in the stocks that pay dividends. And Austin has a good comment here. Yeah, look for stocks that, you know, index funds for sure. If you don't know enough about the stocks, there's certainly enough resources out there to start asking some questions and educate yourself. You know, I love real estate. That's where most of my investments are. However, you gotta look outside of real estate from time to time as well. The third one, and this might be the one that will get overlooked over and over and over and over again, and that's investing your resources into private mortgages. And private mortgages can mean a number of different things. And more specifically, what I'm referring to is you can use your RSP. And certainly go educate yourself on this. You know, reach out to me and I can certainly point you in the right directions. And there's some really great mortgage brokers out there that will use RSP funds to provide second mortgages and sometimes first mortgages to investors or homeowners, borrowers that require those funds. And if we already love real estate, why not invest in this type of vehicle? So if you've got an RSP and you're looking to generate a better return or a stronger return, or maybe more importantly, a more secure return, RSP mortgages could be a fantastic vehicle for you, and you can set your own criteria on how much you're going to lend and what that loan to value is as well. So again, if these are all terms that you're not familiar with, reach out to a Jen and I, because maybe this is something we spend more time on in the future. Remember, real estate is not all about selling and buying homes. It's about generating opportunities for others. And we've done it. I've been the lender and I've been the borrower in both cases, whether it's private money, of course, money from the banks, or in private or in RSP mortgages. To me, that is an often overlooked avenue to generate wealth with, or to get your RSPs out there or your investment funds. That's it. That's it. For any addition to that, Jen? Something that we missed? I don't know.
No, I think those are the main three. I think that we kind of talked about. There's so many options, but I think the key thing, and you said it a lot when you were talking, was educate, right? No matter what you're going to do, there's a lot of great options. The key is educate yourself, understand it, talk to people who've done it, know the pitfalls, know how to set yourself up so that you're protected regardless of what that investment is, right? On the income property side, obviously, as realtors, we kind of know that world. We get it. We know how the numbers work. We know what to look for. We know how to advise people. But when it comes to stocks and, RSPs and second mortgages and private lending, that may be a world we don't know that well, but it doesn't mean we can't take the opportunity, right? But go learn and talk to people and do what Michelle did, right? Which is awesome. I love that she did that. Go learn, take courses, educate yourself, and then go invest. Because if that money's just sitting there, you're missing a big opportunity, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. We have friends and we love them dearly, and their claim to fame over the last 9 months, funny enough, and it's awesome. Whatever you do, whatever hobby you have, awesome, thumbs up. And they were kind of laughing, goes, well, all I've learned to do over the last 9 months is learn how to cut hair. You went and learned how to invest into your future and generate opportunities for yourself. So time is valuable, right? So what we do with our time is really, really important. And hey, you do what makes you as Vincent said earlier, do the things that you enjoy doing, right? For sure. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff. This headpiece keeps coming out. Are you free? So I'm just going to leave it out. Good stuff. That wraps that up. So you know what we got time for now is this. Quick takes. Look at that. I got messages from last week. Yeah, staging is great at any market. It's still true, even a week later. Good stuff. Good stuff. So quick takes. Yeah. So what you'll see on the screen here momentarily is different topics that Jen and I are going to talk about. And it really is our quick takes of what we think of them and provide some insight and so forth. And what is going on here? Here we go. Now my screen's getting better. And hey, Jen and I, even yesterday, we realized we saw things a little bit differently. So this will be kind of fun. Actually, this will be a lot of fun. This is how we pre-plan a show, by making sure everyone's cameras are perfect before we start. It's all good. Okay.
I feel like it's resetting. It's really weird.
I know. It's all good. So here's what we're talking about today. So we got home inspections, meaning during a hot market like this, how to do them, what to do them, should the seller do them, should the buyer do them, exclusive listings, why people take listings exclusive, offer dates and irrevocable dates, like what the heck is going on in this incredibly hot market. And then we're going to have some fun with some scripting, and the objection that the seller is saying is anything will sell in this market. Why should I choose a real estate agent, right? And then we're going to talk a little bit about social media apps. So Jen and I don't know what each other's objection is going to be, so this will be kind of fun. And that we'll leave it at that. So home inspections, Jen.
Yeah. So this is coming up so much right now in the market. Buyers wanting to do home inspections, obviously offers with conditions not being accepted. What's the best approach to take with that? And so we kind of came up, I think, with a couple of different answers, but the main ones are, if you're representing a buyer, and you know your buyer wants to put in that offer, and they know that they want a home inspection, then talk to that listing agent and get in and do a pre-home inspection for that property. It might cost your client $400 if they don't win, but it's worth the investment if they do get the property and peace of mind for them. The challenge with that, what we're experiencing, is that some agents don't want to allow home inspections on their property because there's such demand to get into the property. And I think that the key to that is negotiate that with that seller and say, listen, I only want 45 minutes or an hour. We want to look at this, and this. We don't need to do a 3-hour home inspection. We just need to get the details by someone qualified to make sure my clients are confident moving forward, right? And we're going to respect that time. And I think that will give you a bit of a leg up in getting those inspections done. The one thing that I find so weird about this market is that previously when we had these crazy hot markets, sellers doing home inspections was normal. They would provide a pre-inspection and everybody would review it, and it made everyone at ease, and we avoided this whole problem. And this wave, it's like they're like, nah, we just let them deal with it, or I'm going to get an offer that doesn't have it, so why would I spend the money? And I would argue that you might get more offers, or you might get more buyers on the table if you provide that for them, because some people who might be great qualified buyers just aren't willing to do it without that home inspection opportunity. So why would you cut that out of your opportunity for making more money, right?
Nailed it. And you still have 10 seconds to spare, so I'm just going to sit back.
Let's just let everybody ponder.
Yeah, that's good. That's good insight. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. And I think, every situation, every home is going to be a little bit different. And if you as the seller can provide it, and if it's a few $100, $300-400 for a pre-inspection, and perhaps you can, if it's going to offer you an opportunity to get, we don't need more at this moment. When you're getting 15 or more offers, we don't need more. What we need is highly valuable offers. That's what we're looking. We're not looking for more offers. We're looking for people to, as you said, peace of mind, and maybe it allows them to offer something a little bit more money with that. So that's good. That's good insight, Jen. I like it. Okay, exclusive listings. The question is, from a lot of buyers and sellers, why do agents take exclusive listings? And this question also, believe it or not, comes from a lot of other real estate agents that perhaps don't understand the value of taking exclusive listings. So especially in a market like this where it is so hot, I highly recommend, because people will say, well, if I put my house up for sale, I got to buy something, and I can't buy anything. It's so aggressive right now. However, there's some great platforms out there like Broker Bay. If your broker has Broker Bay, there's approximately 800 exclusive listings out there right now. And if we got more listings held exclusively onto that, maybe some properties exchanged that way. Another way to talk to your sellers about why taking homes exclusive is, until we actually have a contract written on the home, meaning a listing contract, legally, through RICO's eyes, we can't advertise that home for sale. So taking it exclusive is a great value proposition to talk to your sellers. I often use the analogy, the Apple analogy. When Apple launches their new iPhone, they don't launch it today and say, hey, look, we got a new phone. They'll tell you months in advance, right? And that's similar to what you can do with an exclusive listing. Get that, get it prepped, get it ready to be listed on the MLS. And start that marketing campaign. So if it does hit the MLS, and right now that's the choice of a lot of people because they want maximum exposure, your marketing train is already hitting at 100 miles an hour, as opposed to trying to catch up to it. To me, that's such a huge advantage, and why listings are exclusive. And I have, from time to time, I'll take an exclusive listing and I won't get in the way. If there's another agent that wants to bring an offer in, perfect. If it makes sense to all parties, let's make it happen. Yeah. We've sold properties before it hits the MLS.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I would even add to that. We have 200 plus agents in our brokerage who, if everybody in our brokerage is getting their listings potential in future on exclusives, and we know that there's an inventory shortage, what a great service to give to all of our buyer clients to say, hey, I have this private inventory of exclusive listings proprietary to my brokerage that I can now give you the opportunity and exposure to help you find that perfect home. right? So if somehow we can collectively all jump on that same train, we could create mass opportunity for our own businesses and our own clients, and not worry so much about all of the other brokerages and all those other listings and all the crazy that's going on out there. Because I'm sure with 200 of us, we can figure it out, right? So there is also that opportunity to keep it within our family and support each other and do it internal as much as possible, right? As long as we're giving fair market value, then there's no concern. It's not an exclusive doesn't equal deal, right?
That's right. Yeah. This quick take turned into a long take, but it's such an important one, right? And especially in this type of market. And we were talking. We're always talking to our agents and our top producers, and a lot of our agents. People like Vincent, they'll have 10, 15, 25, 30 buyers they're working with. Mm-hmm. And think about that. The majority of those buyers are also sellers, right? So if we got a lot of those sellers or homes onto the exclusive network or within our Broker Bay platform and within, as you said, our 200 plus agents with the haves and must-haves, there's a lot of opportunity there, a lot of opportunity. Mm-hmm. So if I'm an agent in our brokerage and I've got 5 buyers in my back pocket and we can't find anything, I'm creating social posts, I'm talking to other agents in the brokerage, and I'm seeing what I can muster up for sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's move on. All
right.
Offer date versus irrevocable. What's the difference? What's the difference there? So let me set this up, Jen, and you take it from there.
Sure.
I'm a listing agent, and I'm going to hold an offer date for 3 days, or I'm going to not have an offer date, and I'm going to set an irrevocable time. And if you provide me with an offer, it has to be a minimum of X hours or days, and maybe that's 24 or 48 hours. Is there advantage to one, or what can we do there?
Yeah, I mean, such a great topic in this market, because that's the challenge we're all facing. I think the biggest issue that we're seeing with offer dates right now is that when we set a date, so say we decide Monday evening we're going to review offers, or afternoon or whatever, it gives us the set amount of showing opportunities, right? There's a set amount of windows of time where people can be in the property. And if your seller is living at home, that's an even smaller window. So first of all, ideally, your seller can't be home in this market. When we're getting 100 plus showings on properties, it's crazy, right? And then secondly is what happens when you get to offer day and you've got 30 more buyers that wanted to see the house and there wasn't a time slot available for them. Do you then extend the offer date to make sure those buyers get in? Do they just lose out on that property because they didn't get in quick enough? What does that mean for you as a buyer agent? Like, there are some handcuffs when it comes to an offer date. So, but the positives of it are that it's clear, it's above board. Everyone knows exactly what's happening. There's clarity around it. But do you have to be willing to adjust and shift to make sure that all of those potential buyers get in through that house? Or do we start pushing the COVID protocols harder and say, preview the virtual tours and the walkthroughs first, and then once you've seen them, then come book an appointment and start to try and control the amount of appointments we're getting? But we have unprecedented demand, so it's really hard to navigate that. The concern with the irrevocable timeline is that, and I've seen 72 hours. That's becoming more and more normal now for irrevocables, which is bizarre to see, but I understand it, right? Because they want that window of time for all those other agents to show up. But you're going to come up against the same challenge, right? If there's 50 buyers and 72 hours, that math doesn't really work out. So how do you get all those buyers into that property? And I think part of it is going to fall on the buyer agent and their due diligence in getting on that showing sheet quickly and being reactive and moving fast for their client. And, there are going to be homes people miss out on. There's also homes out there where the agents are not putting an offer date and selling it in 24 hours, which is probably a huge disservice to their client, right? But at the same time, if they get a number that they're happy with and their seller's happy, they can move on from dealing with all of the craziness of the market. So I guess an answer, and a very long-winded answer, is that there is no right answer. There's no solution to the problem, but it's, how do we navigate it effectively, and what set expectations are you going to be setting for your seller, right? Regardless of which route you take, make sure they understand that those dates might have to change. Those circumstances might shift a little bit, and we've got to be okay with moving the bar. And then we've got to be clearly expressing that to everybody who has booked an appointment on the property, right? To make sure that there's compliance there.
Yeah. That you said it so great. Yeah, there's so much there to talk about. Again, this is something that we could probably circle back on and have a long take on.
Yeah.
But let's kind of go off script a little bit. Rhonda actually has a really, really great question here. A lot of sellers are wanting to go on MLS to get multiple offers, and they feel exclusive listing, for instance, will not offer that. How do you respond to that? Please, Jen, what's your first thoughts when a seller says something like that?
Yeah, I love it. And I think that's a great point, Rhonda. I would say that the purpose of the exclusive is not necessarily to avoid or not go on MLS. It's to create buzz and energy around the property to get that coming soon sign or get that exclusive rider out on the lawn to let all of the agents that you know become aware that, hey, this property is coming on the market. It doesn't mean that you have to sell it to the first person that wants to see it or to anybody before it hits MLS, but it could create an opportunity to get a fantastic offer off market and save yourself the hassle of dealing with all of the showings and all of the people coming through the property, and give you some comfort around that during COVID specifically. And, as long as the offer is at a point where it's worth it for you to take it and you don't feel that you're losing out on any opportunity, then that's awesome. And if you don't get that, you go to MLS and you see what happens, right?
That's well said, Jen. And this is where it comes back to talking to your sellers and your buyers, right? And just continue to educate them and continue, more importantly, to ask questions. And then what agents have the hardest time doing is just sitting back and listening, right? And just asking that question and just taking in what your sellers are saying. And I get it. I've been there before too, where the sellers are really looking for you to make a decision. And at the end of the day, it's our job, or our role, I should say, to provide our clients with enough information so they can make a sound, educated decision on what's best for them and their family. And there's so many great things that Jen said there. But more importantly, is understanding your client's needs for sure. And just as Jen said, it's use it as a marketing aspect, and maybe that helps along with that conversation. Good stuff. Mm-hmm. Good. Yes, Rhonda's happy with that. Good. We pass. Good. Yeah, and this is cool. Like, if you've got questions, we can go off script a little bit. Mm-hmm. No, we're good. We're easy going. If you got questions like that, we're happy to ask them or answer them for sure. And if we don't know, I'll just go find Vincent somewhere. We'll bring him back on the screen.
Exactly right.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So, Jen, seller says anything will sell in this market. Why do I need an agent? Yeah,
great question.
I should flip for it. So who goes first? You or me? You get to call.
It doesn't matter. I'll go first. I'll go first. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I would say, you know what? That's a fantastic point. And you're right. Most properties probably would sell in this market. But is your end goal to sell your home, or is it to net the most money from the sale of your property? And here's what I mean when I asked you that question. If you put up a sign and you sell your home, you'll make a decent amount of money. But in order to sell your home for the most money, you have to think about the process. So it's not just about selling your house. It's about how you market your home. It's about, staging and prepping your home and doing all of the work prior to the property going on the market. Then once it does go on the market, we're dealing with, 50, 60, 70 agents wanting to see that home and having buyers that are interested potentially in putting in an offer. So now you have to navigate all of those phone calls. You have to give them the reason why it's the best investment for their client. You have to establish your expectation for price, and you have to navigate and manage all of that with your time. And then, of course, comes offer night, when you have to review the offers and the paperwork and make sure that you're accepting the best buyer with the best deposit, the best offer structure to get you what you need in the timeline that you want. And unfortunately, just putting a sign in the yard isn't going to get that for you. Does that make sense?
So I like what Jen did there. She pretty much took every objection and wrapped it neatly into her response. So there's not much I could add to that. But
sorry, Gary.
I like it. I got to make a note. Next time, Gary goes first on any objection handling.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
All good.
That's my go-to script for that one.
All good. And Your script is not much different than mine, although much more eloquent. and usually what I say at that point is, and I'll describe, I don't need to describe all the tasks that agents do. Most people know. At the end of the day, as Jen said, are you looking to sell your house, or are you looking to net the most that you can from your house? And there's more questions to be asked, Mr. Seller. Do you have the experience to navigate what multiple offers look like, and how to navigate, meaning, is there things that we need to protect you from? And do you know what you can and can't say to when selling a house? So there's all sorts of things that we can kind of pull in. And remember, an objection to something like this is typically in reference to your value proposition. So if I'm going to go off script a little bit, meaning I didn't explain or present my value proposition well enough for them to say yes. And that's what it's kind of going to boil back to. So I'm really cheating here, not giving you a substantial one, but Jen pretty much wrapped up everything. I'm gonna ask some more questions. Why do you feel that way? Do you feel that you can net the most by selling it yourself? Tell me about, and this is the best one. I knew it would come to my head. This is the best one. When people say that, when home sellers or homeowners say that, here's one simple question that if people know me, they know I like simple questions, like my 3 questions when buying investment properties. Tell me about your marketing campaign. What's your marketing program going to look like? I know every home can sell like this, but tell me how you're going to market it. And they'll give you the staples, and then you fill in all the blanks and all of the stuff that all the added value that you do. Good.
Right.
Good. Okay. I forgot to run the clock, but we were way over. That's okay. Social media app or apps. Jen, so Clubhouse just came out. TikTok's out there and starting to get popular. Facebook has now been around for years and years and years, a decade actually, over a decade. Then there's Twitter, then there's YouTube, and then there's video, and then there's live video. What do I focus on as an agent?
Yeah, that's a loaded question. I think the simplest answer, I was thinking about this yesterday, and I think the simplest answer I can give is go where the people are, right? And go where the people you want to work with are, more specifically. I mean, TikTok's an awesome app. It's fun. People have a good time. There's lots of dances and all of that sort of stuff. But your average demographic isn't buying a house or selling a house anytime in the near future. So, if you want to get on there and position yourself as the agent of TikTok, that's awesome. In like 10 to 15 years, you'll probably have a killer business, right? But realistically, they're not your target demographic. It's Facebook, it's Instagram. For some people, it can be LinkedIn if you're going to be connecting and reaching out and making those relationships. But those are the main 2, because that's where most people are. That's why there's so much advertising money spent on those programs, on those platforms, more so than any other platform. It's because they have the biggest reach, right? So the key to social media is be strategic and be purposeful in what you're posting, when you're posting, and where you're posting, and keep it simple as you can. You don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be in front of the most people.
Yeah, you nail it. And I'll throw YouTube in there as well.
Yeah.
Creating content such as this, and it can be anything from, I used to do like little roadside chats that were 1 minute long to longer presentations when I held my.
I remember those. Those were great. Yeah, you should start doing those again. Actually, those were good.
I should. And that's what, like, people like to consume video. They like to consume information, and more importantly, like to consume value. Right. So if you can kind of take value into a little entertainment, that's where I think the gold lies at the moment. It's cool to jump on the new social media platforms, and that's cool. You cannot be the master at all, so be the master at one, right? And then start branching out. And I don't know many masters of one, really. So there's a lot, which what I'm saying, if you read between the lines, there's a lot of opportunity still out there. So go get it. Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Jen, that wraps up our quick takes. We got through it. I love it. Quick / long takes today, because
quick long takes.
Yeah.
We need to rebrand that.
Like a big hammer comes down or something over top.
Yeah.
You guys
or that big
over.
Horn.
That's right.
Your time is up. Yeah.
That's right. So, even though the show's coming to an end, the post doesn't. The post lives on forever. The video lives on forever. And again, write your comments in. If you're watching the replay, Jen and I will often circle back and connect with people that way. Thanks, Rhonda, for watching. Awesome. Thanks to everybody for watching. A lot of people watching today, which was pretty cool. And looking forward to next week. Jen, I'll let you sign off today.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Don't forget to put it in your calendar. Reach out to us if you have any other questions. If you want to talk more about any of the topics we talked about, connect with us privately. You can always DM us as well or text us. And otherwise, have a great week. Stay safe, and we'll see you next Tuesday.